All right, so hey guys, we're going to talk to you guys about the Euro 2020, my predictions. And like I said before, guys, this will be a two-part series where basically I'll be doing a group stage preview. We'll only discuss about the group stage. And then for the knockout stage, I'll be doing another video for the knockout stage where we just look in the knockout stage, see how far each nation goes, as well as I'll have a fellow guest alongside with me for that video. And so stay tuned for that. So before you guys watch that video, please watch this video, because this video you guys will understand where I put this nation where. And you guys will get an in-depth explanation. So I'll try to make this as a good, concise length for you guys. And so when you go watch that video, you can already, I already have explained my picks, and you can just watch this video to reference. Okay, and that video I'll go straight to the knockout stage, by the way. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So our first group here is Group A. Okay, now Group A, in my opinion, is a very, very well-balanced group, and I wouldn't be surprised to get my predictions wrong, because I feel like this is a very competitive group. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines here. And then we have Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland. Now, Italy are going to be the host for this one. Italy will be hosting one of the, Italy will basically host all three of their games at their own stadium, which I think Stadio Olimpico, which obviously gives them a huge advantage in that sense. And obviously every other nation will have to travel there. And for me, I have to say it's going to be fourth. Fourth place for me, it's going to be Wales. The Wales, what I've seen for them has been promising. I do think they have some great players. Like, they got some great players. You could see their current roster right here, guys. Let me show you guys the players they have right here. You got some great players like Danny Ward, Hennessy, Davis, Adam Davis. You got Nico Williams, who's playing good. Ben Davis, Joe Rodden, David Brooks. You have Gareth Bale, obviously, who's the captain, and all that. The reason why I have them finishing last is simply because they have a new manager as a Rob Page, and I don't believe that this will be enough. I feel like because of the fact they made a new managerial change, I feel like the squad isn't that talented, in my opinion, compared to the rest, and I do believe they're going to finish fourth in the group. And I think, for me, even though Wales made an historic run 2016 Euros, I think they went all the way to the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, and they lost against the eventual champions, I believe it was Portugal. I don't believe they'll repeat their heroics again, and I do believe Wales will finish last. Prove me wrong, Wales, because I think Wales can easily get, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come second or third, but I do believe they're going to come last. I think they're going to come last, and I think last for them will be disappointing. And I think they'll come yet again hard again. And I think Gareth Bale, for me, will probably be the spearhead in that. If Wales are to do anything of note, it'll probably just be down to Gareth Bale's individual magic to save them the day. Third in the group I have is a pretty interesting one. A lot of people have been hyping this nation a lot, and people are really think they could do something at this tournament, and it's Turkey. Turkey, for me, they have been impressive. What they've done this season, what they've done has been historical. They have made some great renovations to the team. Now they're actually looking like a serious unit. We saw what their wins were against Netherlands, and they won against France in the Euro qualifiers, and they actually went undefeated, and they even had a big win against Norway. So they're looking really good. Obviously, some key players for Turkey are as follows. You look at the Turkey national team, you look at the players they got, like Yilmaz, who's been incredible for Lille, Demiral, who's been amazing, Kendis Under, and Kagler Soyuncu, who's been incredible, Kalina, who's been incredible for Milan, and there's just so many talented players for this team, and I really do feel like Turkey can easily do it. Now, the question I have for Turkey, though, is this. Will they play the level to their opponent as they expect? Because in my opinion, this is a very tough group for Turkey, and that they have to start off right. And I can't completely trust this Turkey team yet. And so that's the reason why I'm a bit skeptical whether or not they will make a deep run in this competition. So that's why I do think they'll have enough to finish third. I think they'll just about get third, but man, it's going to be very close. It's going to be very, very close indeed. So yeah, I'm going to say them finish third. And then for me, second in the group I have is Switzerland. I just feel like Switzerland is a nation that is very talented. They have some great players. And even though they're not the most pleasing nation to watch, I find them at times to be very laborious, very tedious, very boring. They know how to get the results that are very effective. And I can trust them in this kind of group, especially where experience will be very key. And I think they'll be able to have enough experience to guide them to second. Obviously, you look at the key players for Switzerland. You look at the players like, for example, Shaqiri's been incredible. Xhaka, Ricardo Rodriguez, Embolo, Sommer, Gamvrich, Seferovic, Elvedi, and Zakaria. There's some great players, and I feel like for me, Switzerland in this kind of group, I would back them just about to get second because I feel like I could trust them, and I feel like Switzerland is a good enough nation to always do well in the group stage. Whether they'll do enough in the knockout stage remains to be seen, obviously. and I do think Switzerland will get second. And the first in the group I have is Italy. I think Italy, for me, this is one of the most promising Italy teams we have seen in a very long time. Italy, for me, they have been on fantastic form. They have rejuvenated themselves, and after missing out both the Euro 2016 Euros and the World Cup and whole, they are looking like there's something to made of. And the thing about Italy, though, that I really like about this Italy national team is the fact that they're more attacking than a traditional Italy, because traditional Italy in the past would be very defensive, very pragmatic, and they wouldn't be attacking. And now this Italy national team, in my opinion, is actually more attacking than they were before. You got the likes of Ciro Immobile, who's been incredible. I think Keane actually got left out. Jorginho, Chiellini, Rafael Tololi, Jorginho, Insigne, Donnarumma, Verratti is incredible. Locatelli, Barella. You could go on, and there's so many key players. Chiesa as well. I could go on and on. There's just the list for Italy is incredible. And considering they're also hosts for this, which I think will be very, very huge for them, I think will give them the added edge to actually finish top of this group. I think Italy will actually top this group, guys, and I think Italy will qualify for top spot. And I feel like a lot of people are riding high on Italy and thinking that they could actually do something here in this Euro. So yeah, I think Italy will do it. I think Italy will top the group. So to reiterate, guys, I have Italy topping this group. I have Switzerland coming in second, and I have Turkey coming in third, and I have Wales coming in fourth. Okay, let's move on to Group B. Group B is another interesting one. We have Denmark, Finland, Belgium, and Russia. And fourth in the group, I have to say it's Finland. Now, of course, I do respect Finland for qualifying for the first European tournament in their history, I believe. And I think it's an incredible achievement for them to be here. I simply think, though, that this will be too much for them. I think, though, they're a very difficult group. When you look at the likes of the other teams, and obviously you look at the key players Finland have. They have Radecki in goal, I believe, is a great goalkeeper. Obviously, you have Pukki as well, who's been incredible. Timo Pukki. You have Radecki, Robert Taylor, Tim Sprav. You got some great players there. And I feel like, for me, it's going to be very difficult for them to get out this group. And I think they're just content to just be out here. Obviously, it would be nice for them to make another Cinderella story, like what Iceland did. However, I do believe it's going to be too difficult. I think it's going to be too difficult for them to do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and say they'll finish bottom in the group. Okay? Then third in the group I have, it's going to be Russia. And I do think Russia, for me, they have been really, really impressive. I think Russia, for me, they have been ever since their 2018 World Cup, they've been really, really good. And I really feel like this Russian national team has something to be made of. And I feel like Russia, for me, they have looked really good. Look at the key players. Like, you got Artem Zhuba has been excellent. Golovin, Denis Cheryshev, Mario Fernandez, Alexei Marinchuk, Antonin Shona, Smolov, you can go on and on. I feel like, for me, this Russian national team, they have something very special. And then one of the key attributes that I think Russia have compared to many other nations is Euros, is that a lot of their players play in the local leagues. And while that might seem bad on paper, that's not actually that bad, because they can actually have the chemistry together. They are synchronized. They know the players well, and they have a better understanding. Whereas the other teams, like with players like plays in Europe, a lot of different teams, it's difficult to really assimilate all the bond together. So I really do think Russia could do something. So I think Russia's going to finish third, though. And I'm going to say second in the group, it's going to be Denmark. I really feel like, for me, Denmark is a really sleeper team. I feel like Denmark is one of the teams that could actually go on a deep run in every single competition we are in. Every single football competition, there's always a team that performs unexpectedly well. And I feel like Denmark, for me, is a very, very good nation, and they have a very good example of that. And I feel like, for me, Denmark, they have some great players. You could look like Christian Eriksen, Kasper Schmeichel in goal. And I feel like, for me, this Denmark national team, you got Braithwaite up top, Poulsen, Thomas Delaney, Højbjerg. It's a very, very good, talented crop of players. And I also know recently that you look at the record they've had. They haven't lost a competitive game in a very long time, other than to Belgium. Belgium is the only nation that handed them defeat. They have gone on a ridiculous unbeaten streak, and I think it's incredible. The last nation, I believe, that beat them in a competitive action, I think was in 2016, if I want to say. Let me go ahead and see if I can find. Trying to find Montenegro. Montenegro is the last nation to have beaten them in a competitive game, other than Belgium. So I really feel like, for me, they have been really, really impressive. And I really do think that they could easily do something at the Euros. And I really do find them very, very commendable. So I'm going to go and say I think Denmark will come second in the group. So I'm going to say Denmark comes second. And then first in the group I have it is Belgium. Belgium, for me, they have been fantastic. I've been really, really impressed with Belgium. Obviously, Roberto Martinez has done a fantastic job with his Belgian national team. And for me, Belgium, they should top this group. You would expect them to top the group. And I think for me, this is Belgium's one of their best golden generations they've ever had in their history. You look at the players they got. You got Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, Thorgan Hazard, Dries Mertens, Jermaine Deco, Thibaut Courtois. You got some great players there. And I feel like for me, this national team of theirs is like really, really talented. And I really do think that they can easily do something at the Euros. And I would love for them to win it. This is their chance. Will they ever win something? Now, the biggest concern I have for Belgium, though, is the defense. I'm not so sure how their defense will do. I know Jason Denayer has been playing pretty well, and so you could probably see him start. But like I said, guys, that partnership of Vertonghen and Alderweireld is getting old. It's not the same as it used to be. And perhaps you're going to have to change that center-back partnership in the Euros. And I think Jason Denayer could do a pretty good job in filling for that position. Obviously, Tielemans as well has been pretty good. So, yeah, I think Belgium, for me, you would expect them to top the group. Moving on to Group C, okay? Group C is where things get very, very interesting because this is a tough one. This is a tough group to call it, to be honest with you guys. So Group C I have is North Macedonia finishing bottom of the group. I would like I said before, guys, it would be pretty awesome for North Macedonia to overachieve, and obviously we love the underdog stories. We as fans love when teams overperform, and obviously this is their first major international tournament in their long time. Obviously that historic result against Germany is historic to say the least. And for me, North Macedonia, they're really in a very competitive group. You got like Sapandev has been pretty good, Elmas as well, Baradi, Ademi. There's some great talented players, and I just feel like for me, this North Macedonia team, it's going to be very difficult for them to get above fourth. I think fourth is probably the best that they can do. Third is maybe an outside chance, but surely not above third. Surely not above third. And so I think third or fourth is probably where their ceiling is. So we'll see, though. We'll see. There's always a nation that overperforms, and perhaps they might be the nation. And the third in the group I have is Austria. I think Austria, for me, they look really good on paper. I've been really, really impressed with Austria. But the thing about Austria, though, and I think that thing I always say about Austria is that they look so good, but that they disappoint so often in the Euros. Like Euros, they always disappoint, guys. And for me, they never even registered a win in the Euros, from what I read. So it's really really sad to see. You look at some players like David Alaba, Sabitzer, Boschman, Hittinger. I feel like this is a very good players, but I don't know. They never seem to ever play well when it comes to tournaments, and that's why I don't think they'll get higher than third. And so I do potentially believe they're going to struggle here, and I really could see them, screwing up. So I think for me, I'm going to say they finish third, and yeah, I think third is where they go. So prove me wrong, Austria. Prove me wrong. And Konrad Leimer obviously is another important player for them. And then, obviously, you look at second. Now, second is where things get interesting. I'm going to say Ukraine gets second. Now, of course, I would love for Ukraine to top this group. Ukraine to top this group would be an amazing accomplishment. And, of course, Ukraine are the dark horses. I feel like Ukraine, for me, they have been really, really good. I have been really, really impressed with what Andrei Shevchenko has done. You look at that Euros campaign they had, and they actually went undefeated against Portugal. They actually picked up a win at their own stadium. They got a draw away from home. And they can actually do this. And they obviously picked up a historic win against Spain last season in the Nations League and just were inches away from being relegated. Of course, they had to field their B team. They couldn't field the players they needed because of the pandemic. Obviously, they had to they were relegated by default. So it was quite unfortunate that had they fielded their strongest players, I think they probably would have actually avoided relegation. And I think Switzerland might have got relegated. We never know to this day. Obviously, we don't know, but obviously the past is the past. We can't change it. But anyways, I think Ukraine, for me, they have some great players. I've been really, really impressed with this Ukraine national team. And I just have this feeling that Ukraine will come into this with so much excitement. Everyone will be so high upon them. And then I feel like they'll disappoint. And they get that crucial game that is against Netherlands. And I feel like for me, that's where I think they're going to drop out. But as I said before, guys, I would love for them to do it. You look at the likes of Zinchenko has been pretty good. Yarmiko Maliniski, Yarminchuk, and there's a lot of local players as well, similar to what I said for Russia. And I feel like for me, this has been a really good Shankovic, Marlos, and I feel like for me, there's so much potential, and I would love for them to do it. And I just think they're going to, unfortunately, miss out. So, prove me wrong, Ukraine. Prove me wrong, indeed. So, yeah, guys. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and say, so I think for me, top of the group is going to be Netherlands. Netherlands, for me, top is a very, very bold statement. And I'm still very skeptical about this one because I still believe, I don't know about Frank de Boer. I still have my issues with Frank de Boer. I still don't entirely trust him that much. And I feel like for me, Frank de Boer could easily screw this up. You look at the Netherlands group they have, you would expect them to at least get second in the group at the very minimum. And for me, Netherlands, this is their chance. This is their chance. And for me, Netherlands, this is their year. Can they actually do something here? Because we have known over the years they've tended to underperform in these kind of competitions. Obviously, they didn't make the Euros nor the World Cup, and I feel like this is their chance for them to do so. And especially under Frank de Boer, there's a lot of questions as to his continuity. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk will not be playing for them, which will be a huge, huge loss indeed, especially in the defense department. And I do believe the likes of Memphis Depay is going to have to step up. Frankie de Jong's going to step up. Weghorst's going to step up. Tim Krul is going to have to step up. Gini Wijnaldum, Matthijs de Ligt, Burgos, Silesen, Ryan Babel, Wendell, Luke de Jong, Donny van de Beek. A lot of these players are going to have to step up, and this is their chance to do so. And I feel like, for me, everyone is expecting the Netherlands to flop. I feel like a lot of people are not very confident with Netherlands, especially even their own fans, and I don't really blame them. And I feel like, for me, this is their chance. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they get first, just about. But, man, it's going to be very close. It's going to be very, very close indeed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them entirely miss out or come in second. So I'm going to say Netherlands just about get first, probably just on goal difference, okay, to be completely honest with you guys. And now we move on to Group D. Group D is where things are interesting. And by the way, guys, Netherlands also have the home advantage, which gives me the slight edge to also say they'll finish first. And so, yeah, Denmark and Russia also have the home advantage too. I forgot to mention that. Let's go on to Group D. So now England and Scotland have the home advantage, and Croatia and Czech Republic do not. So obviously, that's a huge advantage for England in that sense. So England will play all three of their games at Wembley Stadium, which will be obviously huge for them. So let's start with fourth in the group. It's going to be Czech Republic. Czech Republic, for me, they have been pretty impressive. I've been really, really impressed with Czech Republic's done. And actually, interestingly enough, Czech Republic for me has been very, very impressive. You look at the players, they got some of the big players. Let me go back to the thing. So where is it? Yeah, Czech Republic. You look at the players they got some great players, as in Souček's been incredible. Schick, who's been pretty good for Leipzig, actually Roma, my bad, and Kujafol, and Alex Kral. You got these players. Vasilik's a pretty good goalkeeper, and I feel like this Czech Republic team, they got some great players, and I just feel like for me, they're just going to miss out simply because, like I said, I think Scotland, for me, they have better players, and I feel like for me, Scotland will actually edge this one out. I think Scotland will actually edge this one out simply because I think Scotland have the home advantage, which in my opinion will be very, very big, and that's the reason why I think Scotland will actually take third, and I think Czech Republic will actually get fourth. And also, by the way, guys, Scotland did beat Czech Republic on the two occasions in the Nations League. One was against a B team, Czech Republic, and then the one they actually won competitive-wise. Scotland actually looked pretty good defensively. You can see right here. Let me show you guys right here. So, yeah, Scotland won against Czech Republic 1-0. And you can see right there, guys, I think it's a big, big win. I think that's a very confidence booster. And I think Scotland, for me, the fact they have home advantage here this week big. So you got the likes of Che Adams, Andy Robertson, Scott McTominay, Kieran Tierney, John McGinn, Bill Gilmore. And I just feel like for me, Scotland defensively is a lot better. And I think that's going to give them an edge. And I feel like at times they're going to labor at times. They're going to really struggle to get forward and to score those goals. But I'm confident that defensively, I think they'll be able to be solid. And I would say they'll just about get third. Okay? Then second in the group I have is going to be Croatia. Croatia, for me, they have gone through a downhill trajectory. They haven't, their peaks of the 2018 World Cup has been kind of descending, and they're no longer at their peaks anymore. A lot of their players have retired. I think you look at like Subasic, I think he retired. Mari Mandzukic, I think, retired, as well as I think those are two. And the Rakitic, I also believe, retired. And I feel like for me, Croatia is going to really, really struggle. And Croatia do generally tend to play very poorly away from home, I've generally noticed. And you could look to players like Luka Modric, Vida, Perisic, Kovacic, Kramaric, Rebic, Brozovic. It's a very talented group of players. And I just feel like for me, Croatia, I do believe they're going to come second in the group. And I think Croatia will just about miss. I think Croatia will miss out on top spot. And of course, I think England will get the revenge. So unfortunately, I do think Croatia will get second. And as well as I feel like the home advantage for England will be too much for them to handle. So I think England will get first in the group. You look at the players, they got like some great players in the attack. You got like Rashford, Kane. You got Rashford, Kane. You have Greenwood as well. Grealish, Bellingham, Sancho, Lingard, Foden, Rashford, Mount, Saka. It's just so many attacking players. Calvert-Lewin. It's such a great team. Sterling. And, I could go on and on. And the question I have for England, though, is Gareth Southgate. That's the question I have for him. Can England actually do it? Because I've always stated England, for me, have great players. But it's the coach that I'm very worried about. Gareth Southgate, in my opinion, is what's holding England back. And I still don't believe he is the man for the job. I don't think he is the man to lead England forward to a Euros or a World Cup. And in my opinion, this is their chance for England to prove everyone wrong and for Gareth Southgate to prove it wrong and to go on a ridiculous run, obviously maybe winning it this time rather than get to semis. And for me, this is their chance. Can England actually do it, man? Can England actually do it? And in my opinion, this is their chance. And I think England will just top this group. Like I said, they have all 3 home games as well. And I feel like for me, England, their attack is just too littered to begin with. Now, I do have questions about the defense and the midfield because I don't think the midfield's particularly that great compared to the attack as well as the defense because I don't really know Maguire is really that good. And John Stones, we know he isn't really exactly a great defender, by any means, even though he's been playing well for City recently. That's probably just down to how good Ruben Diaz has been. So yeah, I think England, they'll still top the group relatively. But as I said before, guys, let's see how they do the knockout stage because that's where the real thing will start. That's where we'll really see how England's really made of. So to reiterate, guys, I have England topping this group, Croatia to come in second, Scotland to come in third, and Czech Republic to come in fourth. So basically, as it is right here, basically presented. Okay, and basically here's how it is presented. And so yeah, alphabetical. So let's move on to Group E. We're in the penultimate group, guys, and this is where things get very interesting. We have Spain, Sweden, Poland, Slovakia. Fourth in the group, I have Slovakia. Slovakia, for me, they have been really, really I think Slovakia, for me, they have been pretty good. You look at the players they got. You got like Dubravka, who's been pretty good. Skriniar, Hamsik. I feel like they got some great players in that sense, and I feel like they are a pretty decent team. I feel like they're well-rounded, and I feel like they're going to do something. The problem with Slovakia, though, in my opinion, is I believe the biggest problem they have is just simply is the fact that let's see. So yeah, I feel like the biggest problem Slovakia has, I feel like, is just the other teams are just more stacked with talent, and I think Slovakia will come fourth. Okay. So then third I have in the group is going to be Poland. Poland, in my opinion, have some great players as well. Obviously, everyone's looking to Robert Lewandowski. Obviously, can he continue his success in the Euros and maybe add to his potential reason why he should win the Ballon d'Or? You got Lewandowski, Milik. You got like Szczesny. You got the likes of Piatek, Klich, Fabianski, Zelensky. You got some great players. And I feel like for me, Poland will get third. And the reason why I think Poland will edge this third the battle is because Lewandowski himself. Now, I don't think Poland will get any higher than third simply because, like I said, of course, I don't really believe this Poland national team is that good as a whole. And even though they went on a great run the Euros 2016, I don't believe they're going to do it again. I think that was probably just like that was an insane accomplishment, and I don't believe they'll have that kind of luck again as they did. So, and for me, Poland, we know how reliant they are on Lewandowski, and I just don't believe it'll be enough to beat out the likes of Sweden and Spain. And then second in the group, I have Sweden. I think Sweden, for me, is a very respectable nation. And I think Sweden, for me, makes this nation very well-rounded, And I feel like, for me, the players, you got like Isak, Kuleveski, you have Emil Forsberg, Marcus Berg, Victor Lindelof. You got some great players, Olsen as well. And I feel like for this Sweden national team, they have something of the making. And similar to Switzerland in the sense that they may not be the most attractive team to watch, most pleasing team to watch. They know how to get the result. They're very efficient. They're very, very effective. And they tend to do well. And I think Sweden can go on a good run as well. So I think Sweden will get second in the group. And the first in the group I have is Spain. Now, this is where things are interesting because even though I am predicting Spain to top the group, I wouldn't be surprised to see Spain come out actually don't top the group because Spain, for me, they have been very inconsistent to say the least. I don't really think the fact that Luis Enrique didn't choose any Real Madrid players is ridiculous. That's insane. That's a very, very bold thing to do. And I feel like for me, there's a very, very good chance that Spain might suffer because of that. Obviously, there's not a lot of experience, Ferran Torres, got Unai Simon, Marcos Llorente, Emerick Laporte, who just did switch his nationality to Spain, which I think is huge. Adama Traore, Byron Gil, Ansu Fati didn't get selected. Pedri, Thiago Alcantara, Alvaro Morata, Dani Olmo. You got some great players, Pau Torres as well. And I feel for me, Spain, the biggest worry I have for them is that I don't know if they have the experience because, like I said before, guys, to win these kind of tournaments, you have to have the experience. And I feel like for me, Spain, they're relatively inexperienced, and I feel like the talented players they got are very good. But I just don't know how good it will be. So I do think Spain will top the group just about, maybe on goal difference potentially, just because they score more goals. But like I said before, guys, Alvaro Morata, we know he isn't exactly a clinical striker by any means. So Gerard Moreno will have to do a lot of the work up front. So yeah, I think Luis Enrique, this is his chance to prove everyone on. And I would like to see Spain make a deep run because, let's be real, Spain have been kind of faltering ever since 2012 Euros. let's move on to the final group, in which we have Group F. And by the way, as I predicted, basically alphabetical order is where I'm going with. Group F, we have the final group here, and potentially the group to look out for. And by the way, Spain have all 3 games at home, which I do believe is an added advantage. So, this will be interesting. This will be a very, very interesting group. I'm going to say this right now, guys. I think this group is going to be very interesting. This is the group of death. Obviously, everyone's looking forward to this 3-way battle between Portugal, France, and Germany. I think will be very, very exciting for the neutrals, and of course, myself included. And I think this will be very interesting. So remember, guys, Hungary will host all 3 games at their own stadium, as well as the fact that Germany will also host all 3 of their games at the Allianz Arena, which gives them a very huge advantage in the sense. So Germany, Hungary, they could maybe use that to their advantage. Whether it'll be enough or not, we'll see what happens, okay? So then fourth in the group I have is Hungary. Now, Hungary, for me, they have been pretty impressive. I really like what Hungary did in the campaign so far. You know, getting to the Euros, which I think was a very, very good accomplishment. Unfortunately, Dominic Szoboszlai will not be there. I think he's been ruled off injured. You got the likes of Gulas, who's been incredible. You got the likes of, let's see who else. Silzi. Let's see who else is on this roster. You have, let's see, I'm trying to figure out some other players. I could have sworn there's another player on here that's not. Where is he? I feel like there's another player that. Oh yeah, here we go. Will Orban, Hollander, Lang as well. And I feel like for me, this Hungary national team, they have something of the making. Unfortunately, though, I do believe they're going to finish coming the last in the group. I feel like for me, this is going to be too difficult for them. And even though they have all 3 games at their own stadium, I think it'll be too difficult. And I feel like for me, it's going to be very difficult for them to get out of this group. Now, I could see them maybe getting 3rd at the very off chance, but I do believe 4th is probably the most realistic target. But I think they'll do well. I think they'll do fine, but I don't think people, I know a lot of people are going to say they're going to get blown out, they're going to get destroyed. No, I don't think they'll get destroyed. I think they'll do fine, but I don't think it'll be enough to progress. So I do think Hungary will get 4th. And the 3rd in the group I have is going to be Germany. This will be Joachim Löw's final international tournament with Germany. He will resign after this. He will part ways. And for Germany here, this is very, very simple. Here it is. Will they perform to expectations? Because we know that this Germany national team isn't exactly been that great ever since the 2018 World Cup, but they actually finished last in the group, guys. So we could see a scenario like that happening yet again, guys. And so obviously, you got some great players like Manuel Neuer, Kai Havertz, Toni Kroos, Timo Werner, Thomas Müller, Marco Reus, Leroy Sané, Jamil Musiala, and Ilkay Gundogan, Joshua Kimmich, Robin Gosens, Serge Gnabry, Florian Neuhaus. This is a very, very talented players. And like I said, very similar to England and Netherlands in the sense that, is Joachim Löw really the guy? And I think for me, the players will come and maybe play for motivation. They'll play well just for Joachim Löw and understand this is his last international tournament. And obviously Antonio Rudiger, who's been incredible for Chelsea. And so I really do believe that Germany can do it. I think Germany will get 3rd in the group, and it may be just enough to actually progress to the knockout stage. Obviously, we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, I do believe Germany will get 3rd. I don't think they're ending in shape for 2nd or 1st. I think that's going to be relatively hard for them to do so. Maybe 2nd, but definitely not 1st. Definitely not 1st. And the 2nd in the group I have, it is going to be Portugal. I think Portugal will come 2nd. I really am impressed with what Portugal have done. The qualifiers, they've been really looking impressive. They've looked really good. Obviously, you got the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Diego Jota, Pepe, João Felix, Ruben Diaz, Andre Silva, Renato Sanchez, Bernardo Silva, Sergio Oliveira, Pedro Neto, Nuno Mendes, Jose Fonte, Daniel Pereira, Anthony Lopez, Rui Patricio, and João Cancelo. Then you have Dominguez. I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. There's so many players for this Portugal national team, and their squad is ridiculous. In my opinion, you could easily argue they have the 2nd best squad in the world right now, and I really do believe they have some great players. Now, for the thing for me I have about Portugal is that I'm not so sure if they'll be able to do it, because I feel like for me, they have looked really, I feel like for me, Fernando dos Santos, I'm not so sure if he can get the best, because we generally know he's a very defensive manager, and I don't know if they'll be able to score enough goals as you would expect. That attack is obviously insane. And I feel like for me, the only person that's holding them back was him. And I also believe a lot of these players are relatively inexperienced at the big stage. I think a lot of the players have that experience. The tournaments, perhaps the only players that could come to mind that have the experience are probably Pepe, Cristiano Ronaldo, and perhaps you can say, let's see who else. Maybe you could say Rui Patricio, but that's pretty much it. I don't think any other players have that kind of insane experience as you would need. And experience is very key in these kind of tournaments, as we all know. And I feel like for me, they lack a lot of chemistry. I feel like at times they could look very, very average. They look at times very good. So they're kind of a little patchy at times, but I would still expect them to finish 2nd. And then first in the group, obviously, the last nation to beat is France. Obviously, France are the tournament's favorites. They're expected to win the Euros. A lot of people have France as their favorites, and obviously, the fact they got back Karim Benzema, I think, is huge. Obviously, you got likes of Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud, N'Golo Kanté, who's had just a fantastic season as all just won the Champions League recently. Pogba, Lloris, Ousmane Dembele, Lucas Hernandez, Benjamin Pavard, Edouard Camavinga, Jules Koundé, Marcus Thuram, and all these players. Now, some of these players I don't think got called up. I don't think Martial got called up. I don't think Camavinga got called up either. So, and I don't think Koundé got called up either. So forget those. And then obviously Kimpembe and Varane in the back, and so I feel like for me, this is a very good France national team. And I feel like for Didier Deschamps, he can finally do this. And I feel like we know how, even though he may not be the best, even though we know that he's a very cautious, a very counterattack, very defensive type of man, I do believe he's very pragmatic. I feel like it could potentially work for France yet again. So I think France will top the group. So let me go ahead and close out this video, guys, and tell you guys what my predictions are. So let me go ahead and reiterate for you guys. So in Group A, I have Italy topping the group, Switzerland to come in second, and then Turkey to come third, and the Wales to come fourth. And then I have in Group B, I have Belgium to top the group, and then Denmark to come second, and then Russia to come third, and then Finland to come fourth. And then you can see right here, guys, this is already where I predicted for Group C, basically the same as that. And then Group D, basically the same as that. And Group E, the same as that. And then Group F is where things a little differ. I have France topping the group, and Portugal coming second, and Germany coming third, and Hungary coming fourth. So let me know what you guys think about the comments below, whether you guys agree with my group stage predictions or not. And I'll see you guys later for the knockout stage where we predict. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I hope you guys want to comment, subscribe. Check out my description below for my Twitter, Discord, and my email. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.